I'm here to talk about the different types of pieces that can be planted up with succulents. This is just one example of a vessel that lends itself to being planted with succulents. You're going to find, once you become more familiar with not just the traditional ceramic containers, you can use found objects. This is a bird bath that has been repurposed into being a succulent planter. There's an issue here though with drainage. There is none with the bird bath. Obviously it was made to hold water for birds, and this base is solid concrete, so there's no way of drilling a hole through it. So what I did was find a wire basket, very strong wire basket, and covered the bottom of the basket with burlap to hold the soil in but allow the water to drain through. And it was the perfect size. If you can see, there's a little bit of water there from someone watering the arrangement, but it can be poured out like this so the succulents aren't sitting in it because they don't want to be overwatered. And then once it's drained out of the basket, I can place the arrangement back on top of the bird bath. Water fountains are a wonderful object to be repurposed into a succulent planter. The concrete holds in heat overnight to make the succulents happy. The only thing is again, this is a unit that was made to hold water in. So we drilled holes, probably about 3, in the basin, and then covered those with a mesh so that the soil would not fall through the holes, the drainage holes, but the water would. And then filled it with soil, and then filled it with plants, succulents, that could handle the amount of sun that the position of this fountain gets. This is a Weber grill that's been repurposed into a succulent planter. Already has drainage due to the ash release in the bottom. All we needed to do was fill it with soil and then put plants in there that represented possible red hot coals and flames jumping out of the grill, and some echeverias that resemble hamburger patties, and do a whole play on someone grilling food on the Weber. This is another repurposed item. It's a 1947, 1954 Chevy truck grill. It's turned upside down. It was backed with plastic board to create the reservoirs for the soil, and then planted up with succulents. And now it is a wall unit, a living wall unit that can be hung on a fence or a wall in a yard or in a protected area of a patio. When putting together a dish garden, no matter what kind of plants I'm using, I always think about, this is an old recipe for planting up containers, and it is called thriller, filler, spiller. So when I plant up each one of these cavities, I'm going to be thinking about what is going to give the accent, the tall thriller piece, and then I'm going to be thinking about what I can use that's going to create filler, and then what's going to fit in here that's going to provide spiller, meaning it's going to spill over and out over the edge of the cavity. So I have my thrillers here that come out and fold over and go up, and then the fillers are these plants here that stay more at a medium height, medium level, and then I have spiller here in the ripsalis, which will also handle some shade. So this in itself is going to be located under the shade of a tree. So you're going to want to keep in mind the type of plants that you put in your container. So we're going to be using shade plants for this container. So along with the type of containers that you can plant up and use, you'll also want to keep in mind where the final destination is, and then the conditions that are there and the type of succulents you can use.